That's right, folks. Time for another pizza video, but nothing to do with these folks. Frozen pizza. This President's Choice brand. Loads of bacon, pepperoni, and ham. Thin crust pizza. I'm not usually the world's biggest fan of these thin crust things. Product of Germany. Of all places. But we'll give this thing a try. So there's your wonderful cooking directions. Of course, preheat the oven. Thank God that this oven actually has a preset button for this. I'm going to turn the light on and turn the fan on. And we won't turn the fan on actually because this camera hates fans, but I'm glad this oven has got one of these preheat assist lights. Just make sure nothing's in there. Because otherwise I would have to sit there and PWM hammer this until I hit the right temperature. And really, it's kind of a pain. So I'm actually going to put this back in the freezer until we're ready for it. See, it says they're placed directly on middle oven rack, which we're not going to do, and nobody does that until cheese is melted. So we'll see how good this is. Store-bought pizzas are usually not all that great, but store-brand pizzas, I should say. But we'll see. It was certainly cheap enough. Another thing I hate about this oven is it doesn't tell you what temperature it's at. I think it does after a while, but not when it's first heating up. Really kind of annoying. Alright, oven is finally ready, like about 2 billion centuries later. And here's the pizza, unpackaged. It was kind of a pain and left a little bit of a mess on the floor, mostly because I couldn't find my scissors and had to use a coax cable crimp in order to open that. Oh hush. Doesn't everybody have a coax cable crimp in their kitchen? Okay. So, middle oven rack. And the directions, once we burn myself greatly on this, said to cook it for 10 to 12 minutes. So there's 10 minutes. And we'll set this one for 12. And we'll see what that's like in about 10 minutes. Of course, I went looking for my oven glove and it wasn't in the cabinet. Found the scissors. A little bit too little, too late. And I also found the oven glove. I have no idea why it's there, but there it is. Well, there it is. About halfway for the baking time. Well, actually, it's about 2 minutes to 10 minutes now. Maybe a little bit more than that, but that's what it looks like. Starting to come along. It's nice of this thing to automatically turn off the timer instead of keep going. Even though it's, you know, like an oven operating at 425 degrees Fahrenheit. It is going to need more time, though. Probably not much, but I think I'll give it the full 12 minutes. Certainly, I'll give it the full 12 minutes. Also worth noting is that the timer set and off button is there. This off button controls the oven, but yet the start button controls both. So that's kind of a stupid design. Okay. That should be cooking time done. I don't know about that. It doesn't look like all that cheese is melted. I'll give it another minute. Well, there it is after an additional 3 minutes on top of what it suggested. And it's probably done, but man, that's a greasy pizza. Hope it didn't make a mess out of my pan. Thankfully, I don't think it made a mess out of the oven. So I don't have to clean that, but I don't know about the prospects of ever getting this again. I'll have to let it sit here and cool off, and then I'll go ahead and I'll cut it. Alright, folks. It's time for my verdict on this pizza, I guess. Didn't make a mess out of the pan. It didn't make a mess out of the oven. Amazingly, it's not all crust. But that basically concludes the good news portion of the broadcast. It is extremely greasy. I'm sure you can see that there, especially for a thin crust pizza like this. The tomato sauce they used really just kind of tastes like cheap tat. And I'm not the world's biggest fan of these tiny pieces of bacon and ham. There's really no difference between the bacon and the ham. It's just exactly the same. And normally there's a lot of difference. You know, the bacon is usually crispy. And the ham is, well, it's slightly less crispy pepperoni. Speaking of, the pepperoni really didn't get all that crispy. I will give it some credit. It cooked better than that Casa di Mama thing I had last time. I don't think I made a video about. But I also did have to give it some extra time on an oven that is not verifiably, but probably close to accurate. So, I don't know. I'd never buy it again, but it's inoffensive. So I guess there's one thing. But that's about what my experience is with these store brand, really store brand anything, honestly. There's very few exceptions to that. There's very few good store-bought things, store brand things. I don't know why I keep saying store-bought. And that's going to do it for the video. So thank you for watching. And if you have any comments, feel free to leave them below.